Hello again, welcome. It's always a pleasure to share with you. All these short clips are designed to help you understand what you're supposed to be doing in this world that God created. And one of the most important thing in creation God created is marriage. All of us are here because we've been procreating, whether through marriage or not. This is how you are here today, okay? Through his design. That's what he designed, and that's how you're here. Now, I've seen women or heard women saying they want a man 6 feet tall, they want a man making 100 figures per second. These are foolish ideals, and I'm gonna tell you why. Those kind of demands, where does that speak about that in the Bible? Where does it say that God says for you to find a man make 100 figure per year, whatever it is? What does it say in the Bible for you to marry a man that is 6 feet tall? Where does that say in the Bible? What has happened is you've been lied to, you've been fooled, and you believe it, and that's why you're in that situation right now. Because it doesn't say it. So something that does not state in the Bible will never happen. So you're living a life that's never going to happen. Because why? That's not what God said. God created you. The way you look, that's the image He created you. The way a man looked, that's the image He created. He created a variety type of men, tall, short, fat, whatever you want to call them. He created every type of man. If that were the case, He would have made every man 6 feet tall and every man rich. Why would God have a wide variety of men and women? Different colors, different nationality. Why would He do that? You see, right there, it should make you think. So why would God create a variety? Because there's a reason behind that, but that's not what we're going to focus on. But you have to understand, you've been lied to, you've been living a lie. Because remember, how do you know you've been living a lie is this. Friends, family members, people who are divorced and never been married, and you've been watching TikTok, whatever nonsense you've been watching telling you this is what you're supposed to have. Okay? Now, and you bought into it, and you're living according to a lie. What is a lie? A lie is anything that has 1% lie in it. It could be 99.9%. Truth, if it has 1%, it's a lie. It may sound like the truth, but it's a lie. And what happened? How do we know we're being lied to? Okay? So first, let's start at the beginning. What has happened? Satan has his own workers, and their job is to feed you lies. That's their job. And it sounds like the truth, but it's not the truth. So you've been caught up in something that's not in the Old Testament, that's not in the definition of marriage. God created you to look the way you look, and every man look the way they look. Of course, we can work on our health, look better. But again, the point is there's a variety of men and women with different looks, okay, for different preferences. But God never state those demand you're going with. What Satan has done, he has put you into a trap by using other people. And his goal is this, ladies, is for you to go with a belief that God did not say, that does not exist in God's plans for marriage. And he wants you to believe that and hang on to it. And by the time you get 60, 70 years old, you're going to realize it was a lie. And the way he does that to you, and why does he wait till you 50, 60, 70 years old? Because he says at that age, I don't need you no more. You used up. You can't sin. When you old, you cannot really sin anymore. Satan leaves you alone. And the reason he leaves you alone because you're useless now. He goes after the young ones. Because when you're young, you can run the street, sleep with as many people as you want. You have all these opportunities. At least you think that's what they are, opportunities. But it's all a trap to make you think you in control. And when he leaves you alone, that's when you realize, that's what if you look at older people, they will tell you, yes, I made a mistake. I did this. I wish, I regret. Because Satan is not on their heel anymore, making them think that they are right. It's going to happen. What they think, what he has fed them, thinking is going to happen. So that's why older people come to realization, because Satan leaves them alone, because he says, you're too old now. I have no use for you. You can't sin anymore. So he goes after the young one. But how does he get us? Where does that come from? This is how he gets you. Let's look at Adam and Eve. Satan did not go after Adam because Adam knew the rules. You don't know the rules about marriage. That's why you got caught up with Satan, because you don't know the rules. Adam knew the rules, but Eve also knew the rules. But what happened was, just like you on TikTok, you on Twitter, you on all these media, you listen to these people long enough, you're going to buy into it. What happened with Eve? Eve started a conversation with the serpent, the snake, the devil in the garden. When you start talking to people who are wicked, who are evil, who are not going by God, they're going to get you. If you don't know, they're going to get you. They're going to make you think that what they're telling you is true. Like these women telling you 6 feet tall, that they got you. And I'm going to show you. So what happened was, Eve engaged in a conversation with Satan in the garden. And they're talking. And then Eve said, God says, don't touch that tree, because that's what Satan wanted to do, because he engaged you in conversation to get you off guard. So once Eve said, God says, don't touch that tree, Eve, don't touch that tree, Satan pushed Eve against the tree. And when Eve stumbled and fell and touched the tree, Satan said, see, nothing happened. You didn't die, did you? You didn't die. So the conversation continued until he got Eve to bite that fruit. This is how the media is getting you when it comes to marriage. You ladies have bought the lie, and you bit into that fruit, and it may taste good, but I'm going to tell you this much. By the time you're 50 and 60 years old, you will have not accomplished nothing at all, because you have come, the Satan will leave you, and that's when you will come to your sense that you failed in this life, because that's his purpose. His purpose is to make sure he uses you up while you are young, to get you to sin or to get you not to do what God asked you to do. You came here for a purpose, and because you chasing your desire, because you've been listening to other people, whether it's through the media or close people or experience, you come to believe these foolish ideal. This is what a man is supposed to be. I'm supposed to have. Who says you're supposed to have that? Who says you're going to be alive tomorrow to see it? Who promised you that? Who promised you? And it's even said in the Old Testament, the Torah, God does not promise you you're going to be around tomorrow. So how could you possibly go for something like this thinking that this is going to happen, when on top of that, it doesn't even say that in the Old Testament, what you're requesting for a husband? So you see, as long as you continue thinking this is what's going to happen, you're going to end up living a lonely, bitter, pitiful life, and you're going to be living an empty dream that's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen, because that's not definition of marriage. It's not going to happen because God didn't put that in his Torah, the Old Testament, what your specific detail of a marriage is. It does not exist. But you bought into that because you're watching everybody else. But look at all these people who's telling you this. Ask yourself, are they happy with what they're telling you to go for? Do they have it themselves? You should ask them that. Do they have it? How many people do you know that have these type of people they're asking for, these women that's asking for these type of men, 6 feet tall, making all this amount of money? If that was true in the Bible, God would have made every man 6 feet tall, because he said, this is what my daughter is going to have. And they're going to be making this amount of money. Everybody, because why? That's what he created. If he created, it's going to be. But he didn't create, or he didn't say that. So since he didn't say that, that's why it's not. Now, there are exceptions, but again, it doesn't mean that you're going to be the one. And those people who do end up with those kind of people, they end up being miserable. Because why? It was nothing about what God says. It was just purely because this is what I want. And because of what you want, of your desire, they became miserable in that relationship. And it usually doesn't last. And by the time you figure this out, it will be too late. Time has passed you, and you will have burned yourself out. And that's exactly what Satan wants, for you to burn yourself out. I'll see you next time. Follow, subscribe. I'm also on YouTube, Victor Pay.